Welcome to the rational space. Why do some students feel free to express themselves, while others are told to cover up or uncover? Why does what we wear, something so personal, become a matter of public debate in schools? In today's world, where belief systems and governance often overlap, it's important to understand how societies create space for all voices, while still setting shared rules for public life. This video is not about questioning belief. It's about understanding fairness, inclusion, and the principles that guide public institutions, especially schools. Let's explore why dress codes exist in schools, and why they sometimes come into conflict with personal and religious expression. Imagine a student walking into school wearing a hoodie with a band logo. Another student walks in wearing a cross necklace. A third enters wearing a turban, and another wears a hijab. Now, I'll imagine that in some places, only two of those students are asked to change how they dress. This is not just a question of rules. It's a question of values, of equality, and of how we balance identity with public policy. Number 1. The role of schools in public life. Schools are not just places where math and science are taught. They are also institutions where society shapes its future citizens. That's why many governments around the world set guidelines for how students should behave, and even how they should dress. Dress codes are often created with the goal of promoting discipline, unity, and focus in the classroom. Some are meant to prevent distractions. Others are about ensuring safety or equality among students of different economic backgrounds. But sometimes these codes raise difficult questions. What happens when a dress code conflicts with a student's religious obligation or their sense of identity? Can a secular state protect freedom of religion and maintain neutrality at the same time? Number 2. What is secularism and what is it not? Let's define a key concept here: secularism. Secularism is not the rejection of religion. It's not about pushing religion away. Rather, it's a governance principle that aims to treat all citizens equally, regardless of their belief or background. In simple terms, secularism means the state does not favor any one religion, but also does not discriminate against any. It's a framework built to ensure fairness in public institutions, like courts, hospitals, and yes, schools. In countries with strong secular systems like France, this is often expressed through a concept known as laïcité. This French term refers to the legal separation of religion and state. Under laïcité, public institutions are meant to remain neutral spaces, where religious symbols are restricted not to oppose faith, but to preserve equality. But even with good intentions, this approach sometimes leads to difficult outcomes. For example, students who wear visible religious symbols, like the hijab, the kippah, the turban, or a large cross, may be asked to remove them in public schools. To those students, this doesn't feel neutral, it feels personal. And that's where the debate begins. Number 3. The tension between personal freedom and public neutrality. Around the world, people express themselves in different ways. For many, what we wear is not just fashion. It's a form of identity, tradition, or even religious obligation. When a government says, "You can't wear this in school," it can feel like the state is choosing one identity over another. Let's take an example. In France, the public school system prohibits conspicuous religious symbols, including the hijab. The law was passed in 2004 with the aim of preserving secular values and protecting children from pressure, religious or otherwise. But many students and families see the hijab not as a political or religious statement, but as a personal choice and part of their identity. So the question becomes, can a school be neutral without suppressing identity? Number 4. Different approaches around the world. It's important to note that not all secular countries handle this the same way. In the United States, for instance, the First Amendment guarantees both the freedom of religion and the separation of church and state. This has led to a legal environment where students are generally allowed to wear religious symbols in public schools, as long as it doesn't disrupt the learning environment. In the United Kingdom, schools have more flexibility. Some schools allow religious dress, others set specific uniforms, but accommodations are often made when students make requests based on sincerely held beliefs. In Canada, some provinces support religious accommodations in schools, while others, like Quebec, have passed laws limiting the display of religious symbols for public employees, including teachers. Each of these countries has its own history, social context, and interpretation of secularism. There is no one-size-fits-all model. But in each case, societies are wrestling with the same question: how do we protect both equality and expression? Number 5. Why the debate matters. This debate isn't just about clothing, it's about belonging. When a student is told they cannot wear something that reflects who they are, whether that's a hijab, a cross, or any other expression of belief, they may feel that their full identity is not welcome in the classroom. At the same time, when a state allows every kind of expression in public schools, others may worry about pressure, division, or inequality. So, how do we find a balance? That's where the idea of constitutional neutrality comes in. This is the idea that the state must treat all beliefs equally, without promoting or restricting any one of them. In practice, this means creating rules that are fair, consistent, and respectful to everyone involved. Number 6. A space for dialogue, not division. In pluralistic societies, where people of different faiths, cultures, and worldviews live side by side, dialogue becomes essential. It's not enough to simply set rules. We also have to ask, who do these rules serve? Whose voices are being heard, and whose are being left out? The best solutions often come from conversation. When school leaders, families, students, and lawmakers come together with open minds and mutual respect, they can craft policies that are both inclusive and principled. Number 7. A thoughtful ending. So, why can't I wear what I want at school? It's a simple question, but the answers are complex. What we wear touches on identity, faith, freedom, and fairness. Public schools are meant to be shared spaces, but we each walk into them with different values, stories, and beliefs. The goal of secular governance is not to erase those differences, but to create a framework where everyone is treated equally. And that's not an easy task. It takes careful thinking, open dialogue, and a shared commitment to fairness. At the Rational Space, our goal is not to take sides, but to ask thoughtful questions and encourage respectful conversations. What do you think? Can a school truly be neutral while still allowing full freedom of expression? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you'd like to explore more ideas like this, subscribe to The Rational Space. Thank you for watching.